So, a few months ago, I was part of a series of videos for Buzzfeed UK, and in one of the videos, things didn't quite go as planned. I think you know which one I'm talking about.
This looks really sad, really sad, really sad.
Now, there's a couple of things that you should probably know as to why my tiramisu came out so runny. First of all, when I prepared it, I had the lasagna baking in the oven and the ragu cooking on the stove at the same time. Plus, it was one of the hottest days of the year here in the UK, and it was over 30 degrees. So the temperature in this kitchen was pretty damn high. Now, it's not ideal to make tiramisu when it's so hot. The reason is that the eggs might not whip up nicely, the mascarpone might loosen up a bit, and so the cream, custard? What would you call it? I'll call it mascarpone cream, even though there is no cream in it. The mascarpone cream came out quite runny. The second thing is that I had to transport the tiramisu together with the lasagna and the pasta bolognese on a train over to London, again on one of the hottest days of the year. So it was out in the heat for about 2.5 hours before I got to Buzzfeed UK HQ in London. So yeah, it was a bit of a recipe for disaster really, and I praise Selena for the tiramisu she made because it was spot on, it was perfect, it was amazing. And I went back and finished it because I couldn't just have 2 spoonfuls. So today I'm gonna show you how I make my version of tiramisu, which is not the traditional tiramisu, plus the traditional version and a bonus version. And then I'm gonna try them blindfolded and see which one I like the best without knowing which one I'm tasting, so that once and for all I can tell which version I prefer. Because I'm always a bit on the fence, like I'm not always sure. No, I'm pretty sure I know which one, but you'll see that in a minute. Now, there are 3 key elements to a great tiramisu. The first one is coffee. You want to make fresh, good quality coffee. And as an Italian, I feel compelled to advise for a mocha pot. Get one of these if you can find them, because you're gonna have the best coffee ever. Well, maybe not as good as espresso, but homemade coffee, that's the best. You wanna make pretty strong coffee, maybe not as strong as espresso, but close to it. And if you don't want to have caffeine in your dessert, you can always opt for decaf. I wouldn't recommend going for filter coffee because it's too watery, and I wouldn't go for a cafetiere or French press either, again because it's a bit too watery. If you don't have a mocha pot, you could use an espresso machine. If you don't want your coffee to be super strong, you can always put a little less ground coffee and a bit more water so that it's not as strong. But I like my coffee strong. I'm from Naples, so. You will need a fair amount of coffee. I made 4 mocha pots, which is about 2 cups of coffee. After making the coffee, I poured it in a large container to get to room temperature and then chucked it in the fridge so that it would get cold. The other important thing is that all your ingredients, except for the biscuits, need to be cold. The second main component is the mascarpone cream or custard, whatever you want to call it. And it's the easiest cream you will have to make. It's literally just eggs, sugar, and mascarpone. I know I do say mascarpone sometimes, mascarpone, just don't mind me. To make the cream, you want to separate the egg yolks from the whites, and you want to whip each individually. For the egg yolks, add 3 spoonfuls of sugar and whip until you get to a nice frothy pill consistency. If you pinch a little bit of the mixture and rub it in between your fingers, you should feel no sugar granules, as I'm showing you here. Then you would add your mascarpone in 2 goes and mix it up so that it's really well combined. In another bowl, you should whip up your egg whites. You want to start by getting them to a nice frothy consistency, and then add 3 to 4 spoons of sugar, one at a time, by continuously mixing with your hand mixer. So you want really stiff peaks and a silky consistency. Then it's time to combine both. First, you want to add a spoonful of the egg whites to the other mixture to loosen it up a little bit, because as you would have seen, it's really thick. Once it's loosened up, add a spoonful at a time and fold it in so that the air gets incorporated into this cream. Once you're done, this is what it should look like, and believe me, it's delicious and I could just eat it by the spoonful. As you can see, it's quite thick but light at the same time, and this is the consistency you should aim for. The third element of a great tiramisu is the biscuits. Traditionally, you would use Savoiardi, which are these spongy lady fingers with sugar on top that you can see here. They're really easy to find in supermarkets in the UK, but I will put a link down below in case your local supermarket doesn't have them, or if you live in the US. However, a few years ago, a friend of my mum suggested to use Pavesini biscuits. These are thinner and they're definitely sweeter than Savoiardi. It doesn't take as long to soak them in coffee. You won't get any dry bits in the biscuit, and you can have more cream in the layers. So this is my preferred type of biscuit. I've never seen these in UK supermarkets, so again, I'll pop a link down below if you want to try tiramisu using Pavesini. For my last type of tiramisu, I will use Sfogliatine, which are these buttery puff pastry sweet biscuits. This came about as a bit of an experiment because I had some leftover cream, some leftover coffee, but no more Pavesini last time I made tiramisu. But I had some of these lying around, so I decided to try it, and I have to tell you, they came out really nice. They can be found in some of the bigger UK supermarkets, but if you can't find them in your local one, I will pop a link down below, and I will do the same for my US friends. Now that we have the 3 components ready and chilled in the fridge, it's time to assemble. Right, let's assemble this baby. I actually forgot that there's an extra component to a good tiramisu, and that's really good quality cocoa powder. That's going to be sprinkled over the top of the tiramisu. Some people like to put chocolate as a layer. I'm not a big fan of chocolate in tiramisu. I just like the bitterness of bitter cocoa. As you can see, I have here 3 little dishes, one for each tiramisu. So I'm going to focus on the Pavesini one for now. Let me show you what Pavesini look like. As you can see, these are really thin biscuits. They're really crunchy and snappy. I love Pavesini. So the first thing you want to do is put a very thin layer of the cream on the bottom of your dish. This is just so the biscuits don't sort of move around as you're putting together your first layer. Next thing you want to do is soak your biscuits in coffee. With Pavesini, I use the rule of 5 seconds, which means I dip them, keep them in for 5 seconds, then remove any excess coffee and put them in the tiramisu. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Removing the excess and in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Removing the excess and put it in, and so on. A little warning, you are gonna get coffee fingers, so if you don't want your fingers to get stained, perhaps use some gloves. I'm alright with having coffee on my fingers. I don't mind. So once you've done your first layer of biscuits, you want to give it a generous layer of the cream. And then spread it nicely so that it covers all of the biscuits. Now, I'm making 3 smaller ones, but the doses I've put in the recipe card are enough for a tiramisu for 8 to 10 people. Unless you're me, then it's for 1 to 2 people, really. Second layer of biscuits it is. Second layer done, another layer of cream. And one last layer of Pavesini, one last layer of cream, and then we're gonna sprinkle some cocoa on it. With Savoiardi, the procedure is exactly the same, except Savoiardi need to soak for a little bit longer, usually 8 to 9 seconds, so that you don't get any dry bits in the middle of the biscuit. Finally, we have sfogliatine, or puff pastry fingers. Despite being quite airy, they are quite hard. They're really crunchy. So these need to soak for a bit longer, about 15 seconds each. When your tiramisu or tiramisus are ready, cover them with cling film and pop them in the fridge for 4 hours, or even better, overnight, so that the biscuits can infuse with the cream and the cream can be infused with coffee and everything combines together and becomes the creamy deliciousness that is tiramisu. Before we move to the taste test, I have 2 big news to announce. The first one is that this channel is now on a bi-weekly schedule, so you can expect new videos every other Monday. The second announcement is that I have launched a Patreon page for Let's Cook Italiano. As you can probably imagine, creating videos is quite time consuming and requires a lot of resources. So your support would really help me keep this channel going and creating more and better content for you. If you become a patron, you will have access to exclusive perks. One of them being that you will have access to the videos 24 hours before they're released on YouTube, as well as a priority vote to decide what videos will come up next. So if you would like to support this channel, please head over to the link in the description box below and become a patron. You will have my eternal gratitude. Right, my tiramisus have been resting in the fridge overnight and I can't wait to try them. But as I said earlier in the video, I don't want to be biased, so I'm gonna try them blindfolded and then give my honest opinion. And I'm gonna need a little bit of help for that. John, would you come and help me, please?
Hi, I shall blindfold you. So the first one is here.
Okay. It's really strange. Woo! God. Is it a massive spoonful I'm getting? Okay. I didn't even know where my mouth is. Oh. That's really nice. Can't quite tell which one it is though. Not yet. Right, where's the second one?
Okay, so the next one is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All very soft for the time being. This one is sweeter. So I'm pretty sure I know which one it is. And then third one.
That's the one. Just a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. I didn't get much biscuit in it, so I'm gonna try again. Okay. So by the consistency, I think this one, the last one, number 3, is the one with the Sfogliatine. These two I need to try again. The massive spoonful. Oh, Jesus. Okay. It's definitely between these two. I think I prefer this one because it's creamier. More on the sweet side. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is my preferred one. I'm pretty sure it's the one with Pavesini, and this is the one with Savoiardi. Ooh. Let's see if I can recognize them. Yeah, this is the Savoiardi, I can tell. And this is the Pavesini. It's just creamier because the biscuit is not as thick. So there's a high cream content in this one, which I prefer. But this one is just as delicious. John, would you like to try them?
Right. Have I actually got anything on here?
A little bit.
Ooh.
You didn't get any on it.
I didn't. This is harder than I thought it would
I know. It's here.
be. Okay. And then scoop.
Yes, that's the way.
Okay.
It's a lot. It's a big bite.
Okay. Biscuit was softer. Not so keen on this last one, although I can taste the mascarpone. It's a lot creamier. Nice mascarpone in that one.
It's the same in each one.
It seemed like sweeter in this one. I think overall I would probably go for the first one. The first one for me. The middle one had like softer biscuit. Yeah, I think the first one. They're all really tasty. If I was forced to pick one, it'd be the first one. Oh, it's a tiramisu.
Yes! I don't think we picked the same one. That's the one with Sfogliatine, which is the bonus version, the happy experiment.
Okay.
This is the one with Savoiardi, which is the traditional one. And this is the one with Pavesini, which is my favourite one.
And you want me to place them?
Yeah.
First, second, third. But it's not like I wouldn't eat that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think the experiment went quite well. I went with my favorite one, which is the one with Pavesini, but John preferred the one with Sfogliatine, which was a bit of an experiment, and that proves that you can adapt tiramisu to your own taste. Feel free to experiment with the biscuits. Maybe you can put some liqueur in your coffee. Some rum would be really nice, or some Marsala wine, even some Baileys perhaps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. And please consider subscribing if you like the content of this channel. I will see you in the next video. Ciao!